Join us on a journey to explore Gaza within the Bible. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, please. Located along the Mediterranean Ocean, Gaza City was the southernmost city of the 5 chief Philistine cities, the other Philistine cities being Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. Gaza served as a center of commerce, linking Egypt with Palestine. One of the early references to the city is within the context of the conquest of the Promised Land. Joshua and the Israelites tried and failed to conquer Gaza. Later, the tribe of Judah captured Gaza but couldn't control it for long. The most recent references made to Gaza is within Book of Acts, where Philip, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus, started out on a journey from Jerusalem and headed south towards Gaza. As he was on his journey, he met an Ethiopian eunuch, a high-ranking treasury official. Philip told the Ethiopian eunuch about Jesus Christ and baptized him. After that, Philip was said to have been transported to Ashdod, another Philistine city. One of the other most famous stories from the Bible that occurred in Gaza was that of Samson's and Delilah's, as told in the book of Judges. In the story, Samson, a figure famed for his extraordinary strength, falls in love with Delilah, a harlot in Gaza. The Philistine rulers came to Delilah and offered her a large sum of money if she found out what made Samson so strong. So one night, Delilah said to Samson,
"Tell me the secret of your great strength."
Samson answered her, "If anyone ties me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, I'll become as weak as any other man." Then the rulers of the land brought her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been dried, and she tied him with them. As the men were hidden in the room, she called to him,
"Samson, the Philistines are upon you."
but he snapped the bowstrings as easily as a piece of string snaps when it comes close to a flame. Then Delilah said to Samson,
"You have made a fool of me. You lied to me. Come now, tell me how you can be tied."
He said, "If anyone ties me securely with new ropes that have never been used, I'll become as weak as any other man." So Delilah took new ropes and tied him with them. Then, with men hidden in the room, she called to him,
"Samson, the Philistines are upon you."
but he snapped the ropes off his arms as if they were threads. Delilah then said to Samson,
"All this time you have been making a fool of me and lying to me. Tell me how you can be tied."
He replied, "If you weave the 7 braids of my head into the fabric on the loom and tighten it with the pin, I'll become as weak as any other man." So while he was sleeping, Delilah took the 7 braids of his head, wove them into the fabric, and tightened it with the pin. Again she called to him, but he awoke from his sleep and pulled up the pin and the loom with the fabric. Then she said to him,
"How can you say, 'I love you,' when you won't confide in me? This is the 3rd time you have made a fool of me and haven't told me the secret of your great strength."
With such nagging she prodded him day after day until he was sick to death of it. So he told her everything. "No razor has ever been used on my head because I have been a Nazirite dedicated to God from my mother's womb. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as any other man." After putting him to sleep on her lap, she called for someone to shave off the 7 braids of his hair, and his strength left him. Then, for the final time, she called,
"Samson, the Philistines are upon you."
The rulers of the land seized him, gouged out his eyes, and took him down to Gaza. Binding him with bronze shackles, they set him to grinding grain in the prison. There were about 3,000 men and women who assembled to view the offering up of Samson as sacrifice to Dagon their god. Whilst they celebrated, Samson prayed to the Lord for one last ounce of strength, and as he did, the hair on his head began to grow, and with that he reached toward the 2 central pillars on which the temple stood. Bracing himself against them, his right hand on the one and his left hand on the other, he pushed with all his might, and down came the temple on the rulers and all the people in it. It is said that in this event alone, Samson killed many more than whilst he was alive. As we conclude our journey reflecting to references of Gaza in the Bible, please remember to hit the subscribe button for more tales from the terrain. Please also like this video, leaving a comment with your thoughts.